2, and 1.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, all council members are present, so Madam Clerk, please initiate the roll call.
Councilmember Davis.
Here.
Councilmember Kern.
Here.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Here.
Councilmember Mackin.
Here.
And Mayor Lentz.
Here. Tom, if you wouldn't mind, please reporting out of closed session.
Gladly, Mr. Mayor. The council met in closed session this evening and considered a claim. It's item D, and the council instructed staff how to proceed, which will be rejecting the claim. The council also met in closed session to discuss anticipated litigation involving cities and the county of San Mateo versus the state on a tax matter. The city has joined that coalition to bring that litigation against the state of California. This relates to unpaid portions of tax that has already been collected by the state, but it has not paid the full amount to the city. At the last meeting 2 weeks ago, the council also met about anticipated litigation related to the Brisbane Baylands. That litigation issue relates to the settlement between the city and high-speed rail and the overlay of the Baylands, BDI's plan for the Baylands. The city was brought up, or the city council was brought up to speed on the nature of the conflict. No action needed to be taken, just direction to staff, and staff received that direction. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Tom. All right, moving on to adoption of tonight's agenda. Get a first and a second.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Moving on to awards and presentations. So I have proclamation here proclaiming November 2025 as Native American Heritage Month. Whereas for thousands of years, long before Europeans settled in North America, the ancestors of North Americans were the original indigenous inhabitants, explorers, and settlers of the lands that have since become the United States. And whereas it is impossible to fully understand the history of California without understanding the history of the indigenous people, and whereas California is home to more people of Native American heritage than any other state in the country, and whereas there are more than 100 federally recognized Indian tribes in California, and whereas the Ohlone, a band of distinct groups of indigenous people who spoke similar languages, thrived in the land now known as Brisbane, San Mateo County, and other parts of the San Francisco Bay Area. And whereas the Ramaytush are part of the larger group of the Ohlone Costanoan peoples who lived in San Mateo County and Brisbane in 10 small tribal groups, and who prior to the arrival of the Spanish in 1769 numbered approximately 1,500 persons. And whereas due to devastating policies and practices of European explorers and missionaries, settlers, and various levels of government, the Ohlone lost most of their population and land. And whereas National Native American Heritage Month provides Brisbane the opportunity to learn about the Ohlone people, their role in the history of the county and the Bay Area, and their efforts to keep their culture alive. Now, therefore, may it be resolved that the Brisbane City Council hereby proclaims November 2025 as Native American Heritage Month, and to encourage all residents to share the history of the indigenous peoples of California, including the Ohlone of San Mateo County. And I know that we have some representatives here to accept the proclamation. And let's see, we have Amanda Parker Govia and Philip Govia. And please come on up.
Good evening, everyone. Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. My name is Amanda Parker Govea, and it is my privilege to be here this evening as we recognize Native American Heritage Month. I want to thank the City of Brisbane for the proclamation and for honoring the Ohlone people, the original caretakers of the land we stand on today. My heritage is Seneca, part of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. And while I do not speak on behalf of the Seneca Nation, I share my lineage to honor the deep, shared connection among all Indigenous people, one rooted in respect for the land, for community, and for the stories that continue to shape us. Catch my breath. My family has a long tradition of service to this nation. My great-grand-uncle, General Eli Samuel Parker, served alongside General Ulysses S. Grant during the Civil War and drafted the terms of surrender at Appomattox that formally ended the conflict. At that moment, a Seneca man helped bring peace to a divided nation, a powerful reflection of our belief in America and the idea that all people can walk together in unity. Many of my relatives, including my grandfather, uncles, and aunts, have proudly served in the military. Their service is part of a larger story, one that demonstrates the commitment of Native people to protecting this country, even in the face of its complicated history with our nations. This proclamation is a reminder that we must continue to acknowledge the truths of our shared history, the erasure faced by so many Native nations, and the ongoing crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous people, while also celebrating the resilience, strength, and living cultures that endure today. Brisbane holds a special place in my heart. My mother lived on Thomas Drive. My brother attended Brisbane Elementary, and I spent much of my teen years at the teen center, when there was one. Returning here tonight feels like reconnecting with my own roots, in community, in service, and in the values that the city represents. I'm joined here with my stepson, Philip Govea, a member of the Lakota Sioux tribe, who works at the Native American Health Center, hoping to promote healing and wellness within Indigenous communities and beyond. Philip will share a song, Asking for Forgiveness, a song that reminds us of our shared responsibility to heal, to listen, and to reconnect with one another and the land. He'll also offer his own reflections on what this month and this recognition means to him. Thank you to the City of Brisbane, the Ohlone people, and everyone here this evening for honoring the voices and stories of Indigenous peoples, past, present, and future.
Wow, thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Philip Govea, Lakota Sioux, born and raised in San Francisco. I work at the Native American Health Center in Oakland. I would first like to acknowledge that we are on Ohlone land, and I would like to say thank you to all the ancestors before us that has fought for our rights to practice our traditions, ceremonies, and the protection of our land. One of our warriors that was fought for our people to have the rights to burn our ancestral medicine is a man by the name of Leonard Peltier. He said, "I do not know how to save the world. I don't know how to answer. I don't have the answer. I hold no secret knowledge as to how to fix the mistakes of our generations, past and present. I only know that without compassion and respect for all Earth's inhabitants, none of us will survive, nor will deserve to." I would like to offer a song. It's a song of forgiveness. So go. Ya ya ha we ya ha we ha ya ha we ha ya hey ya hey ya we ha ya ha we ha ya hey ya hey ya ya we ha ya ha we ha ya hey ya ho we yo hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho, hello, hey, oh. A hope.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. So we have this proclamation. If you wouldn't mind coming up and receiving it, and we'd love to do a photo with you as well. Why don't you come up here? There you go. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madison, you can't see.
We're not in our standard position.
We aren't.
Wow.
Oh.
Where are we? Okay,
Well.
we're going here. You're going there. Okay.
No, you're good.
You're good.
Don't worry about it. It's
We're having
us.
problems.
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
We're not in sight.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so now we're moving on to one of Brisbane's great traditions, and that's honoring our Volunteer of the Year. And so we have a Volunteer of the Year and we have a Youth Volunteer of the Year, and I will start off with our Volunteer of the Year. And it's Herman Reese, and I know Herman's in the house here, and it's right there. All right, so whereas Herman is a dedicated community member who has demonstrated ongoing commitment to the city of Brisbane while acting with the purpose of community in mind and giving selflessly to others. And whereas Herman is known throughout the community for his contributions in many areas and personally strives to improve the quality of life for others. And whereas he served as a Boy Scout and in the United States military, whereas he dedicates his time to quietly helping others by delivering meals, offering rides, and checking in on visiting neighbors. And whereas Herman serves as an integral part of the Center for Age-Friendly Excellence Task Force, and whereas he is an active volunteer for the California Highway Patrol and shares his unwavering faith as a chaplain to the incarcerated, and whereas Herman embodies the spirit of this award by generously giving a lifetime of time, energy, and talents to improve the quality of life for Brisbane residents. Now, therefore, be it resolved that after many years of dedicated volunteering, we take this opportunity to express our gratitude to Herman Reese for his tireless spirit, selflessness, and dedication to serving others. Many congratulations to Herman Reese and being named Volunteer of the Year 2025 for the City of Brisbane. Congratulations. So Herman, do you want to say a few words? And if so, why don't you come on up to the mic so then folks at home can hear you as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was very much surprised when I heard it at the day in the park, and 2 days before, coincidentally, I saw Cliff on Quarry Road when he got ready for his run, and I came back from my walk, and he asked me all kinds of questions, and I heard him later on 2 days later. So I just want to say, with a heart of, or with an attitude of gratitude, I'm grateful. Thank you for choosing me. I know I have, in Brisbane itself, I have not done so much. I have done now for over 30 years. Giving people that are without hope, giving them hope, and that's in the county jail of San Francisco. And of course, I love my seniors in Brisbane, and I love Brisbane itself, being here now 57 years. When I moved in here, I was a young kid on the block, and I'm the old geezer. But I do love it, and I love, and I hope it stays the way it is, living in the country and 10 minutes away from downtown and 6 minutes away from an airport that takes you any place, which I frequently or hopefully every so often I can use it. But thank you again, and I really appreciate it. And I just want to say thank you very much. And I enjoy Brisbane, and I want to continue as long as the Lord gives me breath and the strength to do things. I want to be with the people, and I want to share with the people. That's
Wow.
my hope and my prayer. Thank you.
Thank you, Herman. Herman, why don't you come now? Do any council members want to say anything?
Want to take a picture?
We, all good? Okay, come on up, Herman. Let me give you your proclamation, and we'll do over
He's
here.
coming up.
Yeah. There you go. Thanks.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And he's gonna get, she's gonna get a sign for you
Oh,
too.
yeah. There you go.
Nice.
That is a really nice sign.
Yes, a lawn sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
That you get to keep out all the time.
Yeah, I have stakes for it. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Sorry, no. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, the next person that we'll be honoring tonight is Sebastian Bousquet. All right, the Youth Volunteer of the Year. Very well deserved. All right. Whereas Sebastian Bousquet is being acknowledged as the recipient of the 2025 Youth Volunteer of the Year Award. And whereas he has strengthened our community through selfless service, unwavering dedication, and commitment to helping others. And whereas as a youth, he's supported efforts to organize and set up the Brisbane Elementary School's annual fundraiser, Spring Thing. And whereas he was a Derby racer and the inspiration behind the Sportsmanship Award, a youth Derby flag volunteer, and he now serves as an integral support to the Derby team and at the city's annual day in the park. And whereas he helped campaign for parcel taxes in 2013 and 2022, even establishing a social media strategy to rally support around art and music in our community. Whereas he has committed countless hours by serving on the Youth Advisory Committee for the past 5 years and is currently serving in his second term as the YAP president. Whereas Sebastian regularly volunteers outside of Brisbane as a retreat leader for his school and at community service organizations, including St. Anthony's and No Strings Attached to combat food insecurity. And whereas Sebastian is highly regarded by his fellow Brisbane residents and neighbors, and whereas Sebastian embodies the spirit of this award by generously giving his time, energy, and talents to improve the quality of life for Brisbane residents. Now, therefore, be it resolved that after many years of dedicated volunteering, we take this opportunity to express our gratitude to Sebastian Bousquet for his tireless spirit, selflessness, and dedication to serving others. Many congratulations to Sebastian on being named the 2025 Youth Volunteer of the Year in Brisbane. Come on up, Sebastian. Do you want to say a few words?
Thank you. I'm really honored to receive this award. I'm really grateful to have grown up in like such an amazing town with such a great community and amazing role models. A lot of great people that I try to follow in the footsteps in, such as my mom. You know, Dan Carter's here. So a lot of great people to look up to here in Brisbane. So I'm just grateful to receive this award, and I really love Brisbane. So it's good to hear Brisbane loves me back.
Yeah, we definitely do. We definitely do. Right, and we have this proclamation for you. All right, brother. Here you go. Okay. Oh, thank you. Got it. All right. Okay, that's right.
Yeah, he's taller on
Yeah,
the dais.
I know.
Thank you, congratulations. Go ahead now.
Thank you.
All righty. Yeah, this is, see, yeah, you know, the Volunteers of the Year award, you know, giving those presentations, you know, those proclamations to such dedicated people. I mean, that's a nice way to finish out the year. You know, it's just such a, you know, great tradition and just amazing people giving back to our community. So thank you. And it's nice seeing some who have won, and so thank you for being here.
And don't feel pressure to stay.
Yeah.
That's always what we say. You won't offend us if you leave.
Yes. All right. So oral communication is number one. So this is an opportunity for anyone who wants to speak on an item that's not on tonight's agenda. So if you want to come on up, raise your hand, or okay, come on up, Evan.
Here we go. It's been a while since I've been up here, so sorry for not being here for a while. Esteemed City Council members, I'd like to request that we review fees and fines for various things in Brisbane, specifically but not excluding illegal dumping. Recently, I spotted an illegal dumping in progress on Tunnel Road. We called the police and coordinated with the officers Guan and Guadigan, and with quick and decisive efforts on their part, on the Brisbane Police Department, they identified the dumpers and resolved the immediate problem. Great work on their part, but that's not the real problem. The real problem persists. What's the real problem? The real problem is that our fines are $500 for dumping, yet it's $250 to drop something off at the dump. We don't catch people most of the time. I've been told, so the risk-reward ratio is heavily in favor of somebody dumping and not getting caught, because you dump twice and you get caught once, you're even. Simply put, what's the chances of you getting caught 1 in 2 times, 1 in 4 times, 1 in 10? It's going to be higher. So what I'm basically suggesting is that we consider reviewing our fees and our fines. I was actually visiting Humboldt County a few weeks ago. Their fines in a low cost of living area in California are $1,000. Brisbane's are $500. It's another rural area. Why are we less than a low cost of living area? I mean, dumping fines, our dumping costs up there are like 30 or 40 bucks, not 250. So there's a ratio here that we're way off on. I'm going to request that we raise the fines. San Mateo City has dumping fines of up to $3,000. South City, $1,000. San Mateo County has more nuanced. $1,000 for general dumping, $3,000 for commercial quantities, which are most of the big ones we have in Brisbane, $3,000, and a $3,000 administrative fee. And for hazardous waste dumping, which is not uncommon in Brisbane, $5,000 to $25,000. Am I hitting something? We're off by a bit. I think we haven't really followed through on these things in a long time, so I'm asking that we go back and look at them. Brisbane fines are actually $1,000, according to everything I could find on our stuff. But our signs say 500, so we can only charge 500. Yeah, how about that? If I understand things correctly, when somebody dumps in the city of Brisbane, the city notices the dumping, Public Works goes out to pick it up and then hauls it off to the dump and then pays the dump on behalf of the dumper. So we spend the $250 out of our pocket. Oh, plus the costs of Public Works and the lost time that we're paying for this as well. So we're out right, left, and center. It's our tax dollars at work in a really lovely way. So again, I'm requesting that we review fees and fines in general and dumping in general and for dumping in specific. I think you can find the municipal codes there, 1.14, 1.16, 1.18, and 824.16. I'd like to suggest that we have signs or fees in the neighborhood of at least 3,000, if not 5,000, up to 25,000. By the way, the California Penal Code, 374.3, also suggests that there's possible jail time for dumpers of certain types of things, hazardous waste and so forth. I'd like to see us make that happen a little bit more often. It would save us money. It would mean that we're not bleeding money. It would reduce the chances of our officers having to tag these things, our public works having to do this. It's just a lot of wasted money, and our fines are just probably 20 years out of date. So it makes me wonder if there are other fees or fines that are 20 years out of date. Thank you for your consideration.
Yeah, thank you, Emmett. Good suggestions. All right, so anyone else under oral communications? Mr. Carter, and then I'll get you, Chris.
Hello.
Hey,
Thank you
Dan.
guys so much for your service. I appreciate every one of you for what you do for our community. I'm just going to add on because Emmett and I hike the mountain and we ride our bikes and we see a lot of this.
Yeah.
And obviously what multiplies our situation is there's a dump right down the road, right? So literally, if the dump's not open, they're driving back down and they're dumping their stuff, right? Plus, we see it up on the mountain when we walk up there and on Quarry Road. You know, it's places where people find out. So I know you don't have to be convinced, but that's part of the issue, right? They go to the dump might be closed. The closest place is by us, and they just go ahead and back up their trucks. They look around, see no one looking, open the gate, and just speed away. I know you need to convincing, but I just wanted to add that in there. Thank you
Dan.
guys again.
All righty. Chris?
I'm short. Thank you. What was shared with us today by our Native American representatives to accept the proclamation was kind of inspiring. To have that kind of appreciation for the land. To have a sense of responsibility to protect the land in a way that most of us cannot appreciate, to bring our ancestors to this meeting and acknowledge them. So I'm moved to invite us as we consider the future of the Quarry Road development, that we take this opportunity to find a way to protect the land. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else in the audience? Anyone online? I see a hand raised. Michael? If you unmute yourself, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. My name is Michael Barnes. I'm a Brisbane resident. I have some slides that I would like to show while I speak. I believe Angel may have those. Thank you. So these are pictures of a new park at Oyster Point, and I just want to provide them as background for my comments on a park on Parcel R on Sierra Point. New York Times columnist Ezra Klein and Derek Thompson of The Atlantic published a book earlier this year titled Abundance that identifies political choices and regulations in liberal cities as the cause of scarcity of things like housing and infrastructure. They contend that Democrats have focused on the process rather than the results and favored stasis over growth by backing zoning regulations, developing strict environmental laws, and tying expensive requirements to public infrastructure spending. The authors call for a new political vision that prioritizes building and inventing rather than blocking and limiting. They believe that this will lead to a more equitable society. As a liberal city, Brisbane's political leadership embraces blocking building, such as the Bank of America, and emphasizes erratic processes and ties expensive requirements to public infrastructure spending. I'm, of course, referring to a park on Sierra Point's Parcel R. Stop opposing a park on parcel R by tying it to marina improvements. The marina serving infrastructure is the responsibility of the Marina Enterprise Fund. Instead, have a vision of abundance and build a park. The City of Brisbane has approximately $1.7 million that can only be spent on a Sierra Point Park. $385,000 of this park money is restricted to parcel R, and the other $1.35 million will expire this coming June, which you know. My question is, what are you waiting for? 3 years ago, you asked voters what they wanted in a Sierra Point Park. The results of your survey revealed that 96% of respondents visit Sierra Point for recreational purposes, 85% run at Sierra Point, and 44% bicycle at Sierra Point. The Sierra Point Master Plan recognized that Brisbane families use Sierra Point as a safe place to teach children how to ride bicycles. In fact, bicycling was identified as an existing valued use. So that's bicyclists, existing valued use, and Brisbane residents are those bicyclists, the users. Only 14% go to Sierra Point for boating. If you fancy yourselves park and recreation advocates, then agendize Parcel R and CMG for your next City Council meeting. Your goal should be to change the contract deliverable from a Sierra Point master plan to a Parcel R park design. There should be adequate money remaining on the existing CMG contract. Build a park that everyone, from boaters to bikers, will enjoy and that will be safe from sea level rise for the next 75 years. What are you waiting for?
All right, thank you, Michael. All right, anybody else online? All right, so we will move on to the consent calendar. Are there any items that the council member wishes to pull for further discussion? If not, I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar.
I'll make a motion to approve items D through J.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, great. All right, so moving on to new business. Item K, receive an update for the bond rating issues that we're facing. So,
thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. The presentation tonight will be made by Caroline Yuen, our finance director. Staff report in front of you summarizes the issues at hand, and Carolina can provide some details and next steps. Thank you.
Good evening. Sorry, pardon me. Okay. Thank you just for this opportunity. I want to review the council agenda report regarding our bond rating update. Out of full disclosure and to be transparent with the public, we'd like to share an update on a recent change to the city's bond ratings. Just briefly going through the staff report and offering a little background for those watching. The city issues bonds for a variety of reasons, mostly for infrastructure projects, capital acquisitions, or to refinance existing debt for larger projects that require larger sums of funds. So part of issuing bonds, we have to obtain a bond rating in order for the bonds to have a set interest rate and marketability. And so one of the agencies that is available is Standard & Poor's, which the city has elected to use because of its reputation. And so this agency has given our city bonds different ratings depending on the financial stability of the city, the basis of each bond. So, for example, if it's a lease revenue bond that's based off of revenue of like a utility So they'll measure a variety of financial criteria and issue ratings. So we had, for our 2015 bond, we had an A rating, and our 2014 and 2023 bonds, we had a double A minus rating, which are all very high ratings based off of the strength of our city and the projected forecast of what the markets think and S&P feels that we will be experiencing as our city. So one of the requirements of issuing bonds is to include a continuing annual disclosure, which is it's a compliance requirement. It's an annual report that is issued with each bond, with the criteria of the bonds, and also to issue annual audited financial statements. So S&P, Global Ratings, and investors use our audited financials to review the city's and the utility district's financial condition, and it is measuring the condition so that if the bondholders want to sell or trade the bonds, that's part of the analysis that they will use is reading through the audited financial statements. In September 2025, S&P notified the city that our bond ratings would be removed, unfortunately, because the financial statements for 2023 had not yet been finalized and fully submitted to the S&P as part of one of the requirements. Although we have filed unaudited financial statements every year as directed and as required, they need to be followed up with audited financial statements, and we were unable to do it at the time that they would require. Now, we've been meeting with S&P on a regular basis to review the financial condition of the utility funds, which is supporting the 2015 bond series, and we've been meeting with them regularly because of the condition of the district that was upside down with the rates not being caught up to the operations. And as part of that process, we've been closely meeting with them and to review the financial condition. They've been satisfied every time we've met with them. However, the criteria of having audited financial statements was well beyond the amount of time that they could no longer accept any additional delays, and felt obligated to have to pull the bond rating until we can provide them with the finalized audited financials. Again, we've been working with them, and they have written reports of our strong financial position and outlook. So it's not a condition of the city. It is definitely a condition of the financials not being finalized and available to them and published. So what does that mean when a bond rating is withdrawn? Well, unfortunately, it limits our marketability, limits the city's ability to pursue additional bond funding until we are able to reinstate those ratings. Some, unfortunately, may take it as a negative as far as an investor. They may look at it with a negative outlook. However, like we've mentioned, we've had strong reviews from S&P. And then also some institutional investors may be restricted from holding their debt if our city has had a bond rating removed. So we've been working with other debt holders to just so that they're aware of the situation and to make sure that they are comprised or apprised of the progress of where the status of our financial statements. There's also a reputational risk where some may look at it as a fiscal concern. However, one of the reasons why we wanted to bring this up tonight was to continue to be transparent and show the fiscal strength of our city and make sure that the council is aware of the progress that we've made thus far to getting the reinstatement shortly. So unfortunately, there are a variety of reasons for the delay of the financials. So as part of the staff report, we were looking at it from a chronological order, and then we quickly realized that all of the items fell into specific categories. So we wanted to highlight it in that sense to give a better understanding, for you to have a better understanding of why there were such delays. I want to say it's primarily kind of started in late December 22, when there were some significant changes in staffing in the organization. So from the finance department, there were changes above us, part of our staff, and alongside of us that truly affected some of the operations that we had to conduct, and the resources, how we had to kind of cover a variety of activity while we were short-staffed. One of the areas that we were going through at that time was working through the 2024 budget, and the software that we were using was a software that was going through annual revisions, annual changes. They had their own staffing hurdles that would impact the support that they were offering us. And it was, unfortunately, there was some manual intervention that we would have to do in order to provide proper reports, in order to not only give you, present you with a budget, but also to integrate that data into our accounting software. With limited resources at the time, it would only make that challenge a little more intense. And unfortunately, that happened with not only the 24 budget, but the 25, as we were still using that software. The other items, as I mentioned, staffing constraints, definitely with the resignation of the assistant city manager, the IT systems, the IT systems administrator who had been with us for 40 years. We had some folks that had to take leave and retire from the city. And so we had to fill those positions, we try to do recruitments while we were already shorthanded. And so it just added to a little bit of the challenge. Operationally, our city has not stopped. Our department is very interactive with every other department. We still have to pay our employees payroll every other week. We have to pay our vendors. They really don't care what's going on with our staff and what how many people we have on our staff or not. We still have to pay our bills. So we were doing as much as we could to help support the rest of the city. On top of that, in early 2023, I don't know if, or you may recall, I'm sure all of you experienced it vividly, the atmospheric river storms that we experienced, 22, 23 New Year's, that impacted our team because we had to be an active part of the grant request, working with Public Works. FEMA's very stringent on the document requirements that they have, so there was a lot of data gathering we had to do in order to obtain the funding that we needed to reimburse ourselves for all of those costs. There were two major software implementations that happened during these past couple of years. The land permitting software, which covers the city org-wide, and there was another software that impacts the accounting team, which is the marina software. So we had multiple resources from our team having to be part of those implementations to make sure that those systems integrated with the accounting system and that all of our financial needs were met and that we could support the rest of the city with the financial data that they needed for those implementations. There are additional projects that whether it's, one-offs or other org-wide projects that already were, again, we were short-staffed and we were having to address those, and we were very proud of what we were able to support and do during these times. Unfortunately, the scheduling was not only from a matter of our side, but the accounting firm also had their own scheduling concerns with some of their short staff conditions. And so we also had to fall into their audit and off audit season in order for them to deal with financials that were outside of the regular audit cycle. I don't know if you're familiar with the term busy season, but it's a very, very apropos description of what an auditor goes through during the certain seasons. I lived that life, so I know it very well. And so, but again, we had to coordinate with them as well as trying to coordinate with the staffing situations that we had on our own side. So what does that mean for now? And I'm going to ask Angel for the PowerPoint, because the main thing is, what are we doing about it now? We're coming out of this, we're addressing it, and we want to make sure, next slide please, that the council is comfortable with what the progress that we're making. Again, S&P had made comments of our strong condition, our financial condition, and we feel confident that as soon as we complete this audit for fiscal 23, that all of the dominoes will start falling and we'll be going back into place and able to reinstate the bond rating as soon as possible. So first and foremost, audit completion. We finally had really good traction with the auditors this past month. We are in the final stages. We've already received a final draft, reviewing back and forth. So we're very confident within the next week or two, if not next week, that should be ready to go. Again, once the 23 are done, then they can revisit 24, which they started already, but they had to stop because you can't move on to 1 year if the prior year is not closed. So the auditors had come to do interim work for 2024 audit, but they had to stop. And once 23 is finalized, they will be able to proceed, and we should be able to finish that shortly thereafter. Engagement with S&P. We've having ongoing dialogue to review the conditions of the 2015 bond series, and then with that to make sure that they're kept apprised of the progress of the financials. They were willing to wait past the 24-month, which is their normal criteria. They extended it beyond that until they finally felt that they could no longer leave the bond rating. And so with that continued engagement, we've maintained a good relationship with them. As far as technology, we've made changes to the budget software. That was the one that caused a lot of, again, manual intervention for various budget years and impacting it impacted more of the reporting because it caused us to do a lot more data entry to build the reports. So we had changed the budget software starting with this past year. So 26 and 27, which you approved back in June, was already starting with this new software, as well as the labor costing, which was one of the areas that was the most intense, that had to be manually completed. So we feel confident now that this new software will simplify the data integration, not only for the budget, but especially the integration between the two systems, which took the most time from our resources. Staffing, we have had improvements in the personnel that we were able to hire. the skill set closer to what we need. We have an opening right now, but we're in the process of doing background checks, so we'll be fully staffed again by December, so we're very excited about that. We've expanded our cross-training again with the folks in place. We're able to continue with our cross-training to make sure that as one resource is pulled on a special project, that someone else can come in and fill in for those roles. And then also we refined and time has passed for several of the staff that were in the beginning of their training, that now they've done a few cycles, so their responsibilities have grown, and it's enabled us to really share and refine our position responsibilities. And finally, transparency. We just want to make sure that, again, that you feel comfortable with what has transpired, what we're doing to continue the progress towards resolving the issue. And then also we're continually working with city management, city council, and then obviously once the financials are done, that they will be published just as we normally do, and so that the community and the bond markets will have the information that they need. So while this rating is an obvious setback, we're not proud of that. It's an opportunity for us to strengthen our financial reporting process, so we're very excited that we're seeing the light again from that perspective. We're committed to full transparency, and we want to restore the city's credit standing as swiftly as possible. We're very, very dedicated to making that happen. Obviously, we're not happy with the delay or being in the situation, but I'm proud of the staff, and I want to thank the finance staff for just pushing through. A lot of us went through personal hardships during this demanding schedule, and I just want to thank them, and I want to thank the rest of the city staff who were supportive around us, helping us through some of the areas where we did need support. There are some sister departments that when their staff also were going through turnover, impacting us, that we were working together, and it really shows the bond of the employees within the city, and it's very encouraging to see that we're all working towards the same goal. So I do want to thank them publicly for the finance team that have really pushed through. They continue to work through demanding schedules and seek to have optimal and really high quality product for the city, and their efforts, I don't think that they should go unrecognized. So thank you for this opportunity to share this progress with you, and I'll take any questions.
Mr. Mayor, if I could add one thing, there's one more person to thank, is Carolina. About 4 months ago, Carolina and I had a conversation that meant that she was going to be working nights and weekends, which she's been doing for months to try to get to this point. I want to reflect, I agree with her statements related to we're not happy with where we're at. But we do see a path forward. We see a positive path forward. We think we'll resolve this very quickly. We're fortunate to have Tom on board, who's dealt with these issues in the past. And we know once we have the documents in place, this process for reinstating the bond rating could take a matter of days, if not a week or two. So I just want to thank Carolina publicly for the countless hours you've put into this. It's appreciated, acknowledged.
All right, so any questions for Carolina? Start on this side here. No? No questions?
Can I ask questions about the report?
Yeah, or any questions about, what staff report and
Okay.
questions for Carolina?
I have a few questions here. I'm really focused on the path forward at this point. So I'm looking at the first bullet, and it says fiscal 23 financials are in final draft and expected in November. There are, if we take out Veterans Day and the week of Thanksgiving, we have 10 days left this month, 10 business days. We're expecting that in the 10 business days?
Just. What?
Okay. My next question is regarding the engagement with S&P. I'm very interested to hear about how that's going to work going forward. It says that the city will request reinstatement of ratings no later than Q1 of 2026. That would be March 31st. Is there a reason we won't be doing that sooner?
We will be doing sooner. I just don't want to commit to a timeline that we don't have control over. But we will be submitting as soon as possible. And as the city manager indicated, it could be days, but based off of timing and requirements, the application could also take some other documentation. So I just want to put it out there as a cushion.
Thank you for that. Once we engage with the S&P and we ask them to restore our revaluation, I guess I'll call it, how long does it take for it to be restored? From the time we request it, we show them our audited books, how long until it's restored?
That's the part that it's under their control, not ours. So with the holidays and scheduling, it should be a matter of days as far as the application process, and as once you have all of your documentation submitted. But the process itself could take a while. So.
As far as the record of this event, how long does the record last? So that the record would be the city of Brisbane failed to present its audited fiscal year 2023 financials. We pulled their rating. How long does that record last?
Well, it's part of a press release, so as long as it's in the news, it's going to be out there as part of our history. However, your latest rating will be what it is. So whatever that latest rating given, then that'll be like your latest report card, so to speak. On this, there's a system called EMMA, which is where the bond market has their information, and the analysts use that information, so it'll be posted there. And then also keep in mind that when they do have the press release, they say why the rating was pulled, and the reason that was given was the untimely financials. So it's not because of fiscal condition. It says it's because of the timely financials.
Okay, my final question. Is this a true statement? This problem is a failure of our financial processes as a city and not reflective of our underlying financial stability.
It is not a condition of our financial stability. It is not.
Thank you, Carolina.
Thank you, Frank. Terry?
So thank you, Carolina. I appreciate all the hard work you've done and the rest of your staff has done to try to get us into compliance when it has been a big issue. In that first bullet point, it's titled Audit Completion, but the sentence is a little vague. 2023 financials are in final draft and expected in November. The audited completion is expected in November.
The audit field work has been completed, so it's the audited financial statements that have to be completed.
Okay, and that's expected in November.
Correct. And I would say within the week.
Okay, so a done deal, not that the final draft will be completed then.
Right, they will be published and reviewed, published, everything.
Done.
Done.
That's my only question at this point. And again, thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Madison, any
I don't have any questions. No.
All right. Thank you, Carolina, for making the presentation this evening. And I appreciate you calling out transparency, because that's important. A lot of people, don't trust government. And I think the more you're out there telling the story as it is, the more trust that you build with the community. And Frank, thank you for that question in regards to the financial stability versus, there was some paperwork that we did not turn in to the satisfaction of S&P. And now we're in this situation, and there was a variety of issues that came up, one of which is the accounting software. And I know that software folks had issues within the organization. And so I'm glad that we've changed, and hopefully that helps remedy the situation, so that, because there's always going to be things that come up that we can't forecast. But we need to have software in place that enables us to still be nimble and fulfill the obligations that are required by S&P. So one of the questions, coming back to that Q1 2026, so if the ratings are reinstated, do we go back to being a high rating, in the A's for a small city? Because I know that small cities typically don't get AAA, right? But they get a little bit lower. But would you expect us to start with that, or do we have to, get a B and then work our way up to getting into the A rating?
It's a possibility that we would have to build ourselves back. Again, they're looking for 23 and 24 information. And then we will be continuing to review for the 2015 bond. So with each review, you have the opportunity for another rating change.
Okay. And of course, everyone likes to have a good rating, just like people like to have good credit scores, but they're only really an issue when you borrow money. So are there any potential projects out there where we would need to issue bonds and
There could be, but again, it's more of an issue with the investors, because it's the price. It's the market price that's going to be back and forth for the investors. It'll in fact affect our interest that we have to pay. The pricing could be impacted by those ratings, but to answer your question, I think the city will continue to undergo. There's projects, and I know that you've all been looking at facilities. There's
Yes.
a variety of projects. Capital improvements will be presented within the next year or so. That I'm sure there are other needs that we could request.
So I can see where that perhaps is a factor that we weigh when we're looking at capital improvement. So just for clarity, the issue with not having a rating right now, that doesn't have any impact on the current investors with the bonds that we have, right?
Only that as far as for them to try to trade, there's no
So they
rating
could call
there.
the bonds.
Yeah, but it could impact a financial institution that has other debt with us that we're holding, that we've borrowed from. We've been upfront with all of them. We've been communicating with all of them, and all of them have accepted the delay.
Okay.
And just let us know when it's ready. That's been their answer.
Okay, great. All right, thank you very much. Okay, so Terry.
So to follow up on what the mayor was asking, this can affect what rate we're paying on existing bonds, not just on future bonds, but on existing bonds.
Not on the existing bonds. They would have to call them if we're going to have any change of that nature.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
One last one. What is the date, or at least the target date for the audit completion for the 2024 financials?
We were looking to, because of the holidays, we're looking at December.
Okay.
So again, the majority of the field work has been completed there. A few documentation requirements so that once 23 is done, it can roll right into 24 and really be close to finish.
And then that will put us more or less back on track.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Carolina.
Sure.
All right, so I will open it up. Oh, okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I was asked if I could provide some other context. So,
Absolutely. Thank you, Tom.
so I've dealt with this in the past, and I just want to say three things for the record. I've seen it where it really was a function of poor staff work and poor planning. I've seen it where it was like this, which is really a function of a poorly chosen, well, not chosen software system, a poorly updated software system, which the city has no control over. But three things are always the hallmarks. One is, are your banks either calling loans or bonds, or are they changing the terms, forcing you to change the terms? Here, they're not, including the holder of the utility bonds. So that is a very, very good sign. It does get at financial stability, and that's how you're being perceived, and that's, I think that's correct based on the city's performance. The second big difference here is if a bank, if a rating agency, anybody in this business, they all have guidelines, and the guidelines have time frames. And if you don't hit those guidelines within certain time frames, they have no choice but to take an action. There is some discretion with these guidelines. The discretion here, I want to say it was 24 months from the original question about the utility bonds, which is a really long period of time for a rating agency not to do anything while they have questions. Carolina, correct me if it was 18 months, please. But so here, you not only was nobody, the bank or S&P questioning your stability, they waited the entire length they could under the guidelines. I've never seen that before. I'm used to getting, if the guideline's 24 months, you get 12, that kind of thing. So that was another tell here. And then the last one, which is, it is not unique to this city at all. You can do some technology searches and you will find many other cities with the same problem. The minute you're in a position where you have to basically recreate bills of account and do paper entries and all these things that you haven't done in 25, 30 years, you're behind the eight ball, and good luck getting out from under, especially when auditors are so heavily booked that you have a certain time. Here's when we're going to come see you. Here's when we're going to do your audit. Oh, you're not ready? Well, we'll try to fit you in later. So as bad as it appears, I just wanted to say, based on experience, this is dramatically different in a positive way than anything I've seen before, particularly the fact that nobody is coming in saying, we want to change in terms, or we want to call your bonds, things like that.
Yeah, thank you for providing that background and experience, Tom. That was really helpful. All right, so any members of the public wish to make a comment on this item?
Thank you.
I don't see any hands raised. I don't see any hands raised online. So council discussion. Anybody like to start?
We're just receiving an update, right?
Receiving it, so.
I don't think there's
So,
anything to discuss.
yeah, but do you want to provide any feedback? I'm just asking. You can just shake your head and say no.
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you. All right, so, okay, yes.
I want to be careful in my choice of words. I appreciate staff putting in long hours, getting through what were difficult transitions. I can appreciate software companies causing problems. I think all of us have had our lives touched by technology. Wasn't that long ago, we had COVID, we saw revenues go down. 2023 January, had a hillside go and $2.5 million in cleaning up sewers. But we've also had budget meetings the last 3-4 years where I keep asking us to look carefully at our spending and our reserves. And it seems to fall on deaf ears. And I have some reports here from S&P, and it's not all pretty. They have some rather direct comments, and I won't mention all of them. But they mention risk. They mention use of reserves, delay in utility rates, which went back to 2012, and a lot of staff have changed. So I'm not going to hang that on anyone who wasn't even here, where you inherit the problem. A lot of this happened before I was even on the council. But I think this is really sobering to me. I don't take it as everything's fine, we're going to get our rating back. I honestly don't. It to me shows something they mention in here. One thing I will say, a lack of oversight and long-term planning. And I agree with them. And I think it's doing a disservice to this city, to this council, to our residents, to our ratepayers, if we pass it off as it's just a hiccup. So I will personally take the blame and say, we need to do better. And this needs to be a priority. This shouldn't be, well, we're putting in new software for the marina or planning. Why isn't this a priority? This affects so many things. This is the financial stability of our city. We have to do better than this. We absolutely have to insist. And staff turnovers, that's horrible. My heart goes out to you, Carolina. But if that happens again, we need to call Robert Half and have some help in here. And we need to jump on these things sooner than later. I don't want to see this come up again in a couple years. We have to take this seriously, and it needs to be of our priorities. Number one, this is big. So I hope everyone takes it as seriously as I do. I'd like to hear another report on this in January. That would be my request. Thank you.
That's a good idea.
Thank you for those comments. Frank?
Thank you for those comments, Councilmember Mackin. Two things I just wanted to point out. I really appreciate, well, first of all, I want to thank you for all your hard work. I really appreciate you putting the steps in place to find us a path forward. I'm glad you put that thought in place and you were able to demonstrate that here tonight. I'm thinking and I'm looking and when I was hearing tonight, and I'm wondering if in the new year, as we reorganize as a council and we come up with different subcommittees, if we somehow couldn't organize an infrastructure subcommittee to ensure that we're looking at harmonized frameworks in our systems, if we're looking at interoperability of our software, and we're looking at all these different integration points, and we're really identifying problematic areas which we can start shopping different softwares or looking for different solutions, not only just for finance, I'm talking across the board and ensuring this all is working together. I just think it's something from a strategic standpoint that we can just have an eye on. That was number one. And number two, I hear everything that you've said about the staffing. And that's also, that's a pitfall going forward. That can happen again at any point in time. People get pregnant, people get sick, things happen. And so we just need to have some redundancy built in from a staffing standpoint. So I hear that you're addressing that and I hear that you've identified that and it gives me some comfort there. So thank you for that, but I'm just calling it out.
Yeah, no, thank you. Carolina, I do have a question. So, you did talk about staff. Is the department still strained? Or do you feel that you have enough people now to adequately do the job?
We do have a position that was opened late this summer. We had a staff person who transferred to another department, and so we're really close to, we've already given a conditional offer to someone, so we're really close to having that filled again. When a lot of this started, there were new folks in place, and the training that was required for some of the steps that they needed to do was more at the base level. And so not only with the cross-training, but just the training itself, now there are more hands to do a lot of more of the operation. to be that nimble. And so I do feel much more comfortable with that. And also, like having the assistant city manager out for a couple of years, and now we have that position filled, that helped our department because I was assigned some of those responsibilities, and now the assistant city manager is now handling those. So that's less of an issue for our department.
Okay, all right. And then in January, do you think you could come back to the council and
yeah.
provide a fairly significant update for us?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Carolina.
Thank you. Thanks again.
All right, so moving on to item L. Consider submitting the Quarry Road Recreational Trail Project for a Priority Conservation Area Grant. Christina, you have the floor.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. I'm here tonight to seek your approval to submit the Quarry Road Recreational Trail Project for a Priority Conservation Area Grant, as advised by our Open Space and Ecology Committee. As you know, priority conservation areas, or PCAs, are designated spaces that provide environmental and recreational benefits in the Bay Area. They align closely with MTC's long-range regional planning, known as Plan Bay Area 2050. And as such, they set up this grant program that began in 2013. It's funded over $38 million to protect the region's natural and agricultural lands, improve outdoor access, urban greening, and support building climate resiliency. So staff learned there would be a call for projects in late October. We then convened the OSEC PCA subcommittee in late September to kind of talk about various ideas or projects that might be competitive. We had our grant writers attend that subcommittee. They provided us with potential criteria that the projects would be judged against. And so we came up with four different projects. The Quarry Road Recreational Trail Project, Acres Lot 96 above Firth Canyon, creation of a native seed bank, and the Peking Handicraft property acquisition. So after receiving the criteria from our grant writers, we basically scored the projects, and it looked like the Quarry Road Trail project was really the most competitive project out of the four. So the subcommittee then said, hey, let's bring this to the full committee. We brought it to the full OSEC committee, and they agreed with this. Attachment 2 in your packet shows a map of Quarry Road Trail. That is all city owns that portion of the trail. This project would potentially provide a safe route for those attending nearby Lippman Middle School and easier bicycle access. It connects to Crocker Trail and provides access to nearby transit and shuttle stops. It provides a walking route connecting central Brisbane to Crocker Industrial Park on the Ridge. And it would also address potentially water drainage, flood and stormwater issues. It may include planting of natives. It could also include potential benches to make paths age-friendly. And we would also seek to retain emergency access to the mountain and the school. So the full scope of work hasn't been defined yet. We're looking to do that in collaboration with Public Works, Planning, and the Parks and Recreation Department. So with that, just given that it meets sort of all the criteria and it's endorsed by OSEC, we are seeking your approval to submit a grant for the PCA grant for a Quarry Road Trail project.
Right. So any questions? Anybody on this side here? Nope. Anyone on this side? Frank? Looks like a question might be coming out.
It's a question and an observation, just out of curiosity. So I took a look at your project scoring criterion, and I appreciate the work that you put in there. I spend, I'll say it, a lot of time on Quarry Road, so I'm pretty familiar with it, like every inch of it almost at this point. It's in pretty good shape today. Like, it's ADA accessible. There aren't too many potholes. We've got a couple spots where water will overflow in the spring when we've got really heavy flows, but it's in pretty good shape. So In comparison to with some of the other projects, can you just talk about the scoring process and how you felt that Quarry Road really took the lead?
Yeah, I think just kind of looking at the PCA grant priorities.
Yeah.
It kind of hit all of the various open space habitat protection, climate adaptation and resiliency, access and connectivity scored very high there, community benefit, regional significance because it does have that connectivity. So those were sort of the criteria that was that were laid out by MTCA BAG. So it does align with the PCA grant requirements. We are also looking at, if this is something that we want to do, we're also looking at potentially partnering with San Bruno Mountain Watch. So partnerships are also a big piece of this and collaborating with community partners. And just the region and community, just making sure that that connectivity can also, it could also potentially benefit others that are outside of Brisbane who may use the trail for whatever reason. So it kind of hit all of those points. Whereas the seed bank, as I understand it, would be very, very expensive. It would also be in partnership with San Bruno Mountain Watch, but also very, very expensive. And then I understand Peking Handicraft, that is kind of out of, also very expensive, such that most of the grants range from $200,000 to $1 million. And really the sweet spot is probably, $500,000 to $700,000. So that was kind of out of the running just because of cost. And then Lot 96, as you know, we acquired that earlier this year. Last year's application was to acquire that parcel. That was unsuccessful last year. However, thankfully, we were able to acquire it. But we were looking at potentially building retaining walls and vegetation for erosion control. So that was one thing that the committee thought might be helpful. But just, I think Quarry Road Trail, just given the significance of it in the community, given the connectivity, I think it was scored pretty high.
Thank you for that very thorough response.
Yeah.
So if we start heading down the path on Quarry Road, that's funny, path on Quarry Road, see what I did there? And we're like, oh, it's in really good shape, and we've got excess grant money left over. Could we move to a Lot 96 and see if any of this money can be used there, or does it have to be 100% earmarked and dedicated to Quarry Road?
That's a great question. As I understand it, I would have to get back to you on that because our grant writers, I know, are anticipating just one comprehensive, one large sort of project that we can move forward. I don't know if we can submit multiple projects, but it's only something I can look into.
Thank you, Christine.
Yeah.
All right. Councilmember Mackin, any questions, comments?
I have comments, but not questions. You want to wait on comments?
If they're for staff, that's okay.
I was just going to compliment staff and also OSAC. I think that this project is very appropriate for the grant application. And Frank, thank you for your comments about the condition of the trail. But I think what also came out to me in this report is planting of natives and dying Monterey pine trees. That takes an enormous amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the trail's in good shape, that takes a lot. And the other relevance here is any talk about the quarry. I like the fact that the trail is kind of cementing that we're investing in that area long-term, that the trail's an important connection for a lot of people to the school and public transit. And so I think it's very viable and it's good timing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's open it up to the public, see if anyone wants to make a question or a comment. Chris, come on up, please.
Okay.
I may be misreading the diagram, but it appears to include the community garden. Is this correct? Because then I would be wondering if this could include improvements, expansion of, and perhaps better integration with the surrounding area of the community garden.
So attachment 2 is essentially what the city controls because we want to submit a project that we control. So if it does in fact include the community garden, we can definitely look at that as well if that's something that the council desires.
Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. Yes. All right. Anybody online with a question or comment? No. Okay. Any other discussion from council? Madison?
I just had some comments. Well, if you'll notice from consent, the Public Art Committee is moving forward with the bench program, Artful Benches. So if there is a plan, I'm always looking for ways that we can collaborate cross-departmentally, and I think this is definitely an area of opportunity. If this is how we did the Alvarado stairway, where the city got a grant, there was a certain amount that is earmarked for lighting, a certain amount that's earmarked for handrails. And so Public Works says, okay, you know, a handrail is going to cost 15,000, and then the Public Art Committee puts in the remainder, let's say, you know, another 60,000, and hires an artist to take something to the next level. Same with the lighting. And so I think, you know, if the city is going to do benches here, and let's say it's 1,500 a bench or whatever, I don't know what the going rate is for a basic bench, but Public Art might be able to fill in more so that we could have a really incredible bench instead of just a standard bench. So I think there's an area of opportunity there. And I know that there are a lot of plots at the community garden that, since if that's included and there's any kind of overflow budget, but there's a lot of plots that need reinforcement, that the wood is disintegrating and pests are penetrating. So I know that there are some people that really struggle to actually be able to grow anything that they can pick, because those certain plots are penetrated pretty hard by rodents and things like that. So I know that like a lot of those plots could use some investment, and many people have spent their own money to shore up so that they have higher raised beds. So that might be a nice thing that the city could contribute if we feel that that area warrants this money being spent there.
Okay.
Sort of to piggyback on the public art contributing, many grants will have a city participation amount that they need to put in towards a project. And if that's the case, if it were artistic embellishments, it might be that the public art fund could pay portions of that city participation. It'd be coming from a specific fund for a specific purpose, but if that can be incorporated in how the grant writer proposes the project, it might be that we can use some of that money and not take it out of the general fund.
Great. No, that's a great idea. I know that there's no match requirement, so that's a good thing. But it definitely makes you more competitive when you can put something on the table. So.
And I would connect it to age friendly too, because that's one of the big purposes behind the bench program is an age friendly, you know, angle.
Right.
Yes and yes to that.
All right. You want to add anything else, Colleen? All right.
If there's a problem with the pests in the community garden, they're all over central Brisbane right now. It's a lot of gophers. There's a lot of it. They're everywhere.
Oh, I know. I got a colony in my backyard.
Gophers, moles, and voles, everywhere.
Everywhere.
All right. Well, I think we're all in agreement. So if anyone wants to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend submitting the Quarry Road Recreational Trail Project for a priority conservation area grant.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Okay, moving on to staff reports, city manager report, city updates, and upcoming activities.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. A few exciting events coming up in the next 2 weeks. We'll start with the Veterans Flag Raising Ceremony. This will be held on Monday at 9 a.m., not Tuesday, not during the holiday. We hope that you will come out to the park to participate in the flag raising. Reminder that on November 11th, Tuesday, the City Hall will be closed. On November 13th, November 12th, Light Up Your Life Age-Friendly Workshop. We're actually hosting a workshop that was intended to be held in another community on this matter, but we had the space available and we're happy to support it given the commitment from the council on age-friendly matters. It'll be held at Mission Blue from 10:30 to 1:30 on November 12th. There'll be a number of keynote speakers, including the director of the library system. And the intention is to learn about age-friendly projects being implemented throughout the county. All day on November 15th is the annual winter waste cleanup, 15th and 16th all day. And on November 19th, the day before the council's next meeting, will be the State of the City. That will be held from 5:30 to 7:30 in this room. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, City Manager Dennis. All right, City Council meeting schedule, interviews for commission, committee, recruitment. City Clerk report, please.
Mr. Mayor, Council, the deadline to submit applications for open seats in our commission and committees was yesterday. Council received 18 applications plus 2 requests from the IDEA Committee. 2 requests from the IDEA Committee for 2-year reappointments without interviews. That's part of their bylaws. Is it council's pleasure to interview all 18 applicants, which will be about, let's say, 3 to 3.5 hours? So that could take 1 to 2 days, or 1 to 2 evenings.
Well, I wouldn't do the people who are seeking second term renewal on IDEA. That doesn't include.
No,
okay,
that doesn't
does or
include that.
doesn't?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
don't
that doesn't
have to.
include that. It's still 18 applicants.
Without those people.
Yeah,
Oh.
without those people, yeah.
Okay.
And Ingrid, just to be clear, that's 18 total applications for all the committees and commissions, or is it 18 just for IDEA?
No.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
Okay, all
I'm
of
sorry.
them,
So
okay.
there's a report
Got it.
out on your dais
Okay,
here
yeah.
that shows
on this one
how many
here.
was received.
Oh, okay, I did not see this. Okay, thank you. Got it.
And
got it.
unfortunately, nobody applied for the community garden steward, so we'll still need to work on that. But every other committee and commissions received applications.
Okay.
So, I mean,
On the community garden steward, did we reach out specifically to people who had plots?
We just put it out there on social media, not really.
Maybe if we sent a letter to all the people with a plot, to, number one, find out if they're still interested in having a plot, because I know some are in disrepair or other people have taken over for them. And it's been where in the past we haven't had much turnover. And so you sort of get grandfathered in and people just sort of let someone else take over their plot. So I think that if we reached out to everyone who has currently on the list for a plot, and let them know we're looking for a steward, and also to find out their continued usage of the plot. And we could do that as a dual function and see if we get any responses.
All right, so so the deadline passed yesterday. So do we want to have, say, a 2-week open recruitment for that spot?
Well, I think that we could, I mean, personally, I think that we wouldn't be doing it in this round necessarily of interviews, because I wouldn't want to push out the interview process.
No, we wouldn't push that process.
I would just say that we would
we could
probably
do a
need to give it a.
We could do a separate.
We could just
one
do it
for
before a
the community
council
garden,
meeting.
Steward, and 2 weeks is good to do that direct outreach to the people who have plots, because that makes sense. If you got a plot,
I'd give
you
them a
should
month.
be a steward.
I'd give them a month to respond.
1 month.
Can I make a suggestion?
Whatever you think is appropriate as council.
This is not about that. We can work out the timing with that, but for IDEA committee, we have 5 applicants, 5 seats. I always think it's good to interview any new applicant, even if there's even if it exactly fits the openings that we have. But I would think like for Anna Dennis, Keita Highsmith, Alex Horton, and Carol Zoltowski, they've all served. Like Anna Dennis and Alex Horton, I think, have already served. Have they already served 2 terms? And so I would think just for that committee, it would be easy to just
Interview the one.
interview the one. The other ones are different because they kind of have, there's more applicants than seats, except for planning, but we have a new person in there. So I think just for idea, these people have all served for a long time. And so I think it might be easy on us and our schedules to say, hey, like these 4 ladies who are here are doing a fantastic job.
Okay, so I know we talked about that the last time, and we thought, well, let's interview. I agree. I think if we can, look at the folks who are currently serving and they're reapplying, we could eliminate a lot of the interviewing because we already know that they've served admirably, and just, say, yes, you're good for your reappointment.
Mr. Mayor, if I may?
Sure.
When you say that, are you referring only to IDEA committee, or are you referencing committee-wide?
To me, I'm good with looking at them all, but I know that was an issue the last time. Maybe we shouldn't be doing that. So then, is it fair to have one that you don't do it for, and then the others, everyone's got to interview? So, just trying to be fair here.
Yeah, I was just saying that one because like,
I get it.
like for open space, it's 5 seats but 6 applicants. So that's why for that one, I just thought maybe we would interview them all versus like IDEA is 5 applicants for 5 spots. So it's kind of easy.
If I may make a comment, please?
Absolutely.
I think that, to be fair, okay, if we take the rest of all these different committees, different liaisons know more about people on the committees and commissions. And I think it's just presumptuous to say that we should just reappoint people because they've been there. There were some years back, I know when Councilmember Davis joined the council, she was against that. And I thought that was a very good move, that we take people not on their history, but on their merits and their dedication. And maybe we have other people that would serve more admirably, not taking anything away from anyone that's there, but it shouldn't be just because we have an empty seat, we want to have someone sitting in it. And I think being fair, we've had a policy of doing the interviews, and it's our responsibility to do that.
All right. So, I think we should continue to do what we've been doing, and we can get through those interviews, I'm sure, pretty quick. So,
Mr. Mayor, we do have on the bottom of that page possible meeting dates based on our polling of council members' schedules. So that's Monday, December 1st, Tuesday, December 2nd, and the following Tuesday, December 9th.
all right. Do council members want to pull out their calendars and choose a date, or would you rather have us get back to you in email?
All of those dates worked for everybody that responded to the polls.
Then let me just double check that.
Figure out what works for you.
We'll also use those dates, through the chair, use those dates to set the special meeting that we follow up for the best practices as well.
I'm assuming we need 2 meetings to do this.
So that would make all these dates meetings.
Looking like it, if that's the pleasure of the council.
Should we do starting
If
at
I
5?
can, if I may, I think it would be great to just do the interviews back to back like we did last time. So like on the 1st and the 2nd, just do them back to back. That's what we do those nights. It's all interviews. It's all fresh in our head because we're talking to all the people at once. I think it works best.
Yeah, I thought we went through a lot of applications pretty quickly and efficiently the last time, and we chose really great people.
Yep.
So I thought the process was good. So if we're all amenable to doing that again, then let's go for it. Okay, great.
So Monday the 1st and Tuesday the 2nd, back to back, about nine interviews per day.
Yeah.
And would you be amenable to having remote interviews, or would you prefer
In person.
In person.
I mean, we should be in person.
We definitely should be in person.
I would
mean, and
request
I think
in
we would want the applicants to be in person too. But you know, if someone's got a business trip, like I think there was a person, I forgot, was it Ray?
There was somebody on a
Yeah,
trip,
you know, or
Anthony Walker.
Anthony Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we need to build in some flexibility. You don't want to say, oh, sorry, you know, you can't serve because you didn't meet our schedule for
But
the first and the second.
I want to give the option for Zoom. If somebody comes back and says, hey, I'm out of town, then you can propose that. But if you just give everyone the option to be on Zoom and not come in, then, you know, I don't want them to exercise that unless it's really necessary.
Exactly.
Got it. Will do.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think we're all good with that.
Yep.
Anything else,
you.
Ingrid?
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, so moving on to countywide assignments and subcommittee reports. Is there anybody who wants to start on my left side? Madison?
No,
No, or
I don't have anything.
Terry?
Sometimes it's the less said about a meeting, the better, so no report out.
Okay, great. Colleen? Or okay, we'll start with Frank.
I'm skipping Colleen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Sure.
This past Monday was the final San Mateo County Library Joint Powers Authority meeting. It was a pretty light agenda. We conducted a performance evaluation for the executive director, Anne Marie, and we worked through some, enriched procurement guidelines. It was a pretty light meeting overall. Can I use this time to report out on Parcel R, even though we just had our meeting a couple days ago?
Just wait to the next one because there's gonna be the synopsis, right?
Yeah, those come to
Okay.
the next meeting.
All right, then I will not report out on that tonight. That is all.
All right. Is that appropriate not to do that? City manager.
The subcommittee met in an informal, it was an informal opportunity for the subcommittee to meet to look at some notes. I'm comfortable with either way. You could talk about it tonight. Usually in those informal conversations, we don't capture those.
Oh, it's not gonna be on a document like
That wasn't the
this?
intention.
Oh, okay, then I would just do it now then.
Yeah. Okay.
Back again.
As a reminder, the Sierra Point Parkway and Open Space Subcommittee is staffed by Mayor Lentz and myself. The efforts over the past year have been disciplined, systematic, and singularly focused on creating a valuable public asset within the specific boundary of Parcel R. We want to assure the council and the community that our process is rigorous, data-driven, and designed to move us forward toward a final decision on Parcel R's future. So just a little quick background on the foundation and scope. Our initial phase involved thoroughly establishing a foundation based on existing community priorities. We reviewed all available feedback collected across 2022 and 23, including data from Sierra Point Parkway Subcommittee, the City Staff Technical Advisory Committee, the Marina Harbor Master, the Brisbane Day in the Park event, and the comprehensive and well-responded to online community survey. This historical data provided the context needed to refine the scope, a park for Parcel R that is adaptable, flexible, and fully integrated with adjacent future potential development and aligned with current sea level rise expert predictions and assumptions. The next step was defining the Parcel R amenities. The work then transformed from general feedback to concrete possibilities, strictly constrained by the limits of the Parcel R property. On July 24, 2025, we met with One Shoreline and CMG to discuss design concepts specific to Parcel R. This exercise was conducted without any additional expenditure of funds as directed by this City Council. CMG provided us with a list of potential amenities tailored to the Parcel R site, including single options and combination of options for a multi-purpose lawn, a multi-purpose plaza, an amphitheater, overlooks, picnic barbecue areas, a wind and shade canopy, earthwork and berms, a playground, gardens, or a potential dog park. This confirmed a wide variety of high-quality recreational improvements are achievable within the current parcel's smallish footprint. With these ideas in mind, we went back to the community on October 22nd, 2025, holding an open format meeting at the Sierra Point Yacht Club to gather direct feedback and additional thoughts from the Yacht Club members, the boating community, and other Brisbane residents. This led us to the final path of recommendation. We are now entering the final phase of this process. Following a closed session meeting with staff on November 5th, 2025, we have given two clear directives. Number one, a targeted on-site walkthrough of Parcel R is scheduled for November 13th, 2025, and this will be including our brand new Director of Public Works, the Director of Parks and Recreation, and other city staff leadership. This ensures all relevant departments are aligned on the physical constraints and the possibilities of the site. And number two, crucially, we have tasked either the entire Park and Recreation Commission or a designated subcommittee to take the combined historical data and the recent CMG amenity list and prepare a final formal report and recommendation to the Sierra Point Parkway and Open Space Committee. This disciplined approach ensures that our final proposal for the Parcel R Park will be fully vetted, informed by expert and community input, and ready for Council's final evaluation and approval in advance of the expiration of the funding provided by Health Peak. Thank you.
Can I make a question or an ask? And I don't know if the subcommittees looked at this or if Public Works is going to need to weigh in on it. You know, obviously Parcel R is the big hump in the middle of the landfill there. And I'm not sure, and I don't know if anyone has the answer to this or if the subcommittee has looked at it, but I think the hump was just piled up debris that got placed there with no compaction or engineering or any of those things. So before someone is looking at that parcel to put something on it or do something concrete, not meaning concrete, but, you know, real, there, I think that we would want to make sure that it doesn't need to be re-engineered for stability or for cap intrusion or any of those kind of things. And I'm not sure where that historical data is going to come from. And I'm not sure if it might have already been done, but I somehow have a doubt. So I would just, you know, ask your committee to ask those questions and look at that before moving really far forward if that whole hump needs to be disassembled and possibly reassembled to keep it a hump, if you want it still to be
Pumping.
a hump.
Yeah,
Thank you.
good
That's really
feedback.
valuable
Thank you.
feedback.
So, thank you.
All right. Any other feedback? All right. Well, thank you for accepting Frank's update. So, any other council members? Councilmember Mackin.
Always have a report. Peninsula Clean Energy. We had a board retreat last month, reviewing the organization's growth of the past decade, going from the idea of just an idea in the mind of legislators to a very large, nationally respected entity, now setting trends in the energy sector. Nearing a 10-year anniversary, and the board voted on two major changes that are coming up. First of all, PCE will undergo a name change that will be announced the beginning of next year. And second, the PCE is in final lease negotiations for a new headquarters in the city of San Mateo. At the board retreat, we had a presentation from a utility and industry expert named Chris Seipel. He talked about massive transformation in the energy sector driven by increased demand obviously coming from increased electrification and data centers. Other stresses are federal policies that are changing on renewable generation, supply chain uncertainties, global trade war, you name it. On the positive side, and this was the interesting part, he reported that the demand is really driving innovation, especially in making new computer chips that will be more efficient. He compared the present circumstances to World War II, when energy demand just grew overnight to 60%, massive mobilizing in factories. And he said that actually brought major innovations that made the energy business more efficient. So he kind of anticipates that may happen, but nobody knows the timeline. And that could solve some of our problems. If I can, I've got a couple other reports. Parkside Ad Hoc, the mayor and I had several meetings, really just to identify next steps to gain an overview on the potential benefit of a Parkside plan expansion. There's a lot of aspects that still need to be explored. And then Frank, did you want to report on the city manager review ad hoc?
Oh, I'll
If
let you take that one. You can take that
Okay,
one.
all right. So Frank and I were on the city manager review ad hoc, and we did interview 2 of the 3 facilitator consultants and determine the best selection that we thought fit our objectives. I don't know if our city manager has responded yet.
Was that your original estimate of who you thought?
It actually was.
Nice.
And we weren't sure about that, but it came through loud and clear.
Cool.
There was no,
Yep,
yeah,
Great.
absolutely.
done and done.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you guys went through it anyway.
We were too.
Yep.
Thank you for the
We got additional
suggestion.
insights and some clues on
We
some
did.
things we can do going forward based
Yeah.
on the results of the interviews, so it's great.
Great.
It was very
Thanks for
good.
spending your time doing that.
That's all I have.
All right,
Thank you.
great. And then, so the only thing
Can
that
I throw one more subcommittee report in
absolutely.
very
Yeah,
quickly?
yeah,
You'll notice on page 94, we've got the communications subcommittee update, and I do have something that's not included in here. We're going to be hosting a bug bash, and we'll be inviting members of the community come test out our new website that's not exposed to the public yet, and that'll be from 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Wednesday, December 10th. There'll be communications going out on that and personal invitation to some people. We're just going to be testing out the new website, logging any new bugs, anything that we need to get fixed prior to the launch. So it's going to be a bug bash party.
I feel like we always have a new website. I don't know.
Oh no, the new one is real nice.
Yeah, it is. And if I can add to that, I wanted to recognize Caroline Chung. She's been doing a lot of work on the Star newsletter. You'll see changes going on, but she has really applied an amazing amount of time and effort. I just think you'll be really surprised. It takes time, but she deserves a lot of credit. Thank you.
All right. I guess it was a couple weeks ago, we had a visit from Peter Johnston. I believe his title is, he's the president of the Clem Jones Foundation and longtime Lion Club member. He visited Brisbane last year, and whenever he comes to the United States, he comes and visits Brisbane. And just like Clem Jones, there's a tie to our small town with their giant city of Brisbane, Australia. And so Peter was talking about rekindling the sister city relationship that we used to have. And back in the day, Anya and Ray did visit Australia, like back in the 70s. And so I had mentioned to Peter that I would write a letter about, because Peter asked if I would do that, that would be submitted to the mayor of Brisbane, Australia. And one of the things that Peter is very excited about is that the 2032 Olympics are going to be in Brisbane, Australia. And wouldn't it be cool if the torch eventually made its way to Brisbane, California, right? And then went on some boat, I guess, right? As it's making its way around the world. We laugh about that, but I was.
No, they've been saying this for a while. Because
So
I've been getting emails about this.
Yeah, no, I think it's something that we should, really consider and start to, potentially have that relationship with their city.
They wanted us to be on a news broadcast with them. Like, they were like, can you hop on in an hour or in 30 minutes? I think I was mayor at the time. And when it was announced that they were going to be the next, that they had it for 2032 or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, will you get on? And will you get on this broadcast? And I was like, I am not camera ready. No, I'm not going to get on the news with you. But they were like really excited about it. And I don't think it's just Clem Jones Foundation. It's like, at first I thought it was a spam because, we get all these, we get all these emails. And I was like, you've reached, and they're like, no, we know it's you.
Yeah.
So I think that's good if we can collaborate with them.
All right. So,
Mr. Mayor,
yes.
did you happen to ask Clem if, since we seem to get all
Peter,
the emails?
Peter. Yes.
Okay, sorry. Did you ask him if, since we get all the emails that Councilmember Davis mentioned that are applying for permits in Australia, is he getting
Sending
our
us
mail?
invoice?
So-
Is he getting our email?
If we make that, so that's the government, and he's not a member of the government.
Oh.
He's part of the Clem Jones
Too bad.
Foundation.
Okay,
But he's very well connected.
good.
So, but you're right. That is something.
I happen to know all their chamber inquiries also
that would
come
be
this
nice.
way as
That
well.
would be nice to sort that out for sure. So, all right. So at our next meeting, there will be a letter for everyone to review. All right. So oral communication.
Wait,
Mr. Mayor?
upcoming subcommittee meetings.
I thought we were addressing that. Does anybody want to say anything?
I would like to ask. I'd just like to put it out there that the history subcommittee last met in December 2024, and I'm hoping that we can meet before year's end. So maybe staff can help coordinate if Councilmember Mackin can squeeze it into her schedule. Something prior to the end of the year, I think would be good.
Okay.
We'll work with both of you on the appropriate time for that.
And then are we the housing subcommittee temporary alternate selection? Is that something we need to do still?
Yes, that's item
okay.
03 here. And I can take this very quickly. So as the
that's
council,
right.
as the council knows, we have received an application for management of visitation gardens. It's from Housing Endowment and Regional Trust. It was the sole application. Regardless of the fact it was a sole application, we do want to take it through our normal process. Because the mayor serves on the HART board, there's a conflict of interest issue, and we would like the council to nominate a council member tonight to serve in that capacity for that one function only. That would be review of HART's RFP. Frank looks very happy.
Would love to do it.
There you go.
Oh, cool.
Okay. All right. So now moving on to communications, Ingrid.
Written communication was received from John St. John Police Protection Against ICE Harassment if when they come. Chris Florkowski, Old County Road Bike Lane Implementation. Barbara Ebel, Tissapity. We received a postcard from Sylvia Stevenson regarding quarry and development. Jason Mechke, Administrative Assistant, NorCal Carpenters Union. Elise Wallace, Electrical Vehicle Program Information for your constituents. And William Conway regarding the ACA has an absolute bombshell hidden in it, and Dems can take advantage of it.
All right. Thank you, Ingrid. All right. Oral communications number 2. Anybody? All right. Anybody online wish to speak on an item not on tonight's agenda? Chris, you were out in the 4A? No? Okay. So we are adjourned at 8:31. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.